certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hand round to another episode of Rankin. This is going to be and not so much of, well, trying to think of some way to read it that wasn't going to sound weird, but we're talking about drama movies of the 2020s today, so it's going to be an interesting episode. And I've got a great panel with me. I've got Dan Scapellin here. Dan, how's it going?
Hey, I missed that Oscars Best Actor episode, and I'm kicking myself, Malcolm, because I could have made that episode. So I'm glad you asked me back again this time.
I've also got Jacob Barber here. Jacob, how's it going?
It's going well. Happy to be here. Happy to talk some drama movies. I think it's going to be an interesting list because nowadays everything is drama plus something else. So it's like, what's your genre that you like being added with drama?
And we've also got JPO here. JPO, how's it going?
As much as I love to laugh, I also love to feel and be in pain and think of the darkness that ignites my dark soul. So yeah, it's kind of
fun. But yeah, how this verse is actually going to go around in a panel and bring up a movie that we think belongs on the top 12 list, and then our says and note it. Because it's only a 4-person panel, it's going to come down to the other 3-person on the panel if it makes the list or not. We were going to have a 5th person, but they just haven't.
If you remember Chris Scott, you son of a bitch. I'll name names.
But with that, Dan, we're going to go to you first. What was the first movie you're going to bring up?
Look, guys, I was joking before this started. I was joking with these guys. What do you guys think of people talking in rooms? Because that's the first movie I'm going to bring up is people talking in rooms. But to me, arguably to me, it's the best drama of the 2020s. I just feel I've seen it so many times. I own the 4K, and I seen it actually the same week it came out. I saw it 70 millimeter and 35 millimeter the same week in 2 different aspect ratios, and it stands up in both times. But it was a movie that won a lot of Oscars, and it to me is the #1 movie of the decade so far, and that's Oppenheimer.
Jacob, what do you say about Oppenheimer?
Yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going to go when you said people talking in rooms, so I was very curious as to what you were going to bring up. I don't know if it's my favorite of the 2020s, but I think it absolutely deserves a place on this list. I think Christopher Nolan directed the hell out of this movie. It's got a great, stacked ensemble cast. And yeah, it's a 3-hour movie, but it doesn't feel like 3 hours. I think the pacing is really well done. Yeah, I think it deserved all the accolades that it got. So it's a yes for me.
JPO, what do you say about Oppenheimer?
I mean, no, this is a big old yes for me, absolutely. Here, I won't say how high, but it's very high on my list personally. Yeah, no, this movie was great. Everything Jacob said, everything Dan said. So yeah, no, it's a big yes.
And yeah, I really love this. So it's not my top of the decade so far, but it's definitely high enough that I'll say yes to it. So so Oppenheimer's easily going to make this list. Jacob, we go to you next.
Yeah, and I was sorting through Letterboxd. I was sorting by genre, and I'm not surprised that this movie came up. But anytime I can bring up an animated movie, I also will do that because I love animated movies. And Del Toro's Pinocchio, I think, absolutely fits the drama genre. From that opening sequence. We see, the backstory of Geppetto losing his kid, and then just like the journey that Pinocchio's going on. It's a very dark reimagining of the story. You could argue that the Disney version, the animated version, is also kind of dark at times, but this one, I think, yeah, the animation, the voice cast, I think, yeah, it absolutely has those dramatic elements, and I think he does it really well. And I like what Del Toro said too when he won the Oscar. He's like, animation is not just for kids; like it absolutely is for everybody. And I think this movie is a perfect example of that. If it doesn't make the list, I totally understand. But any chance I can get to champion a good animated film in any topic, I'm going to do it. So Del Toro's Pinocchio will be my first nomination.
JPO, what do you say about Del Toro's Pinocchio?
I might be the asshole of the show. I never got around to it, unfortunately. I think I might have been to Mecha Stout of Pinocchio by then. So I unfortunately haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
That's not what makes you an asshole.
No, plenty of other things. Oh yeah. It's just like the icing on the cake kind of thing. It's like Harvey Weinstein. Like I'm like it's like the 12th worst thing.
But Eddie Wilde, I don't have to transition from that now. For me, yeah.
I don't think I explained that joke very well. I meant like if he was like had a late fee at Blockbuster, you'd be like, wow, he's an asshole. Not because of the Blockbuster thing, because of anywho.
I figured I knew where you're going.
Yeah, I didn't explain that joke. That came out. Yeah, let's edit this. Let's go back and start over. Oppenheimer, great. I haven't seen Pinocchio.
Yeah, for me, like I did enjoy Pinocchio, and I actually think it was a really good interpretation of the story. And I'm gonna say yes. I think it was good. Like it's one of those ones. I do think it was pretty good, and yeah, I think it deserves to be on this list. But Dan, it comes down to you. What do you say about Pinocchio?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I love this movie, but I have my own criteria, Jacob, and it has nothing to do with you or your pick or how much I love this movie. I have my own criteria. What this episode is, what it stands for, and I don't look at Pinocchio as a drama. I look at it as an animated film, and that's in my personal criteria. Has nothing to do with anything else. I love this movie. There's no doubt about it. I got the criterion. But I can't say yes to it because to me it's animated.
That's it. Pinocchio is not going to make this list, and we go to JPO. JPO, what is your first nomination?
I kind of want to do Pinocchio. Yes, now, man, it should count. I love Oppenheimer. There's another movie that I think also charmed me as well as being one of the best dramatic movies of the year as well. I want to nominate The Holdovers. At the end of the year, I remember truly like having like a dilemma as to like what movie I enjoyed more. And I just the Holdovers hit every note for me. While Oppenheimer has Cillian Murphy, this one has 3 tremendous performances as well. I felt like it was just a very truthful movie here. Paul Giamatti again reminds us why he's one of the greats. Yeah, this I really loved The Holdovers.
Yeah, The Holdovers was also my number one movie of the year as well. I thought it was great, and yeah, and I think Paul Giamatti's performance is just good, and it's one of those ones like I feel like they could have gone either way, and I would have been happy if whoever won Best Actors, like because they're both good, and this is one of those movies that's become an annual Christmas watch for me. But so yes for me. Dan, what do you say about The Holdovers?
Yeah, I saw it October 30th, I believe. It was at 2:00 in the afternoon. They had a special screening. It was the only way I was going to be able to see it because Focus Features doesn't give me screeners, and it's pissing me off. Still
It gets shot every time we talk about screeners. Holy shit, we're going to be drunk.
But I saw the movie on that day, and I just absolutely was blown away by Paul Giamatti's performance, and I was in tears in moments in that movie, and it just really, really affected me on a lot of levels. And so I wasn't thinking about The Holdovers because there's so many movies you could pick, so I didn't have it on my list. But I'll definitely say yes to it because I think it's a movie that deserves to be on a list like this. It's not like we're picking the best of a 10-year span. We're only picking a best of like a 4-year span. So yeah, sure, why not?
Jacob, what do you say about The Holdovers?
Yeah, absolutely. Love this movie. It was my number 2 of 2023, right behind Spider-Man, which absolutely does not count for this list, although there is some pretty big drama in that movie. But I digress. No, like JPO said, 3 fantastic performances here from Giamatti, Divine Joy Randolph, who absolutely deserved the award, and then Dominic Sessa. I can't wait to see what he does next. Yeah, I think there was a great screenplay. I thought it was directed really well. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. So I'm going to say yes to Holdovers.
That the Holdovers is going to make the list, and it's on to me. And I'm going to bring up a movie that I thought for sure either JP or Jacob was going to was going to bring up first. But funny enough, it was also the same year as the other two that made this list. I'm bringing up the Iron Claw, the movie about the Von Erich family, and yeah, and this is one of those ones where I didn't know much about this family. Well, I know there's controversy that they sort of left out a brother and all that, and but I think the movie that they told, it was still good. It was just as heartwarming and heartbreaking at times, and yeah, it was just really good to learn about this like wrestling family. I've only sort of heard about in passing it, but not really known much about the story. And yeah, it's just a really well made movie. And yeah, Dan, what do you say about the Iron Claw?
Yeah, I watched the Von Erichs. It was on, they used to do a wrestling from the Sportatorium, and it used to be out on like 1:00 at night on ESPN. And I love watching because it was something different than WWE. Then Kerry Von Erich went to WWF, I should say, and I really liked the family and the wrestling and all that stuff. And I like Holt McElhaney. But I just was completely turned off by Zac Efron as Kevin Von Erich. I just couldn't get past it. He just didn't look very good. His hair, something about him rubbed me the wrong way. And for that point only, I'm just going to say no to the Iron Claw.
Jacob, what do you say about the Iron Claw?
Yeah, I absolutely love this movie. It was in my top 10 of the year that year as well. I thought the performances were great. I didn't know much about the family personally. Like I started watching wrestling a little bit later, 90s kid. I didn't really research or go back to, the classics like the 80s and stuff until, recently, probably after seeing the movie because I just wanted to know more. So all the, inaccuracies, like it didn't affect me as much as people who might have, been around in that era. I thought it was great. I thought there was some great drama, some heartbreaking scenes. So yeah, and shout out to Chavo Guerrero who helped with the wrestling.
He's the Sheik in the first scene.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So I'm gonna say yes to the Iron Claw.
JPO, what do you say about the Iron Claw?
The wrestling movie? Me? I don't know. No, actually, funny enough, I might be the lowest on this between at least us three that are saying I'm saying yes. But no, I thought it was really good. I'll even defend like the editing of the brother here because again, it's a it's a 2-hour movie. It's not a 3-hour or 6-hour miniseries. Like, and they had to condense something. You know what I mean? So I mean, you have to unfortunately do that in movies. Same thing with Fighting with My Family. The Vince Vaughn character in that movie, for instance, is literally like 5 different people in real life. But if they just kept introducing new characters, it'd be kind of jarring movie wise. Like you got to unfortunately do that from time to time. But no, I thought this was great. I even thought Zac Efron was great too. I thought the scene where the other brother cuts the promo better and he gets the title shot. You really see it in his eyes. The final scene. What you think about Daddy? I ain't a brother no more. Fuck you, Dad, if you didn't cry. So I'd say yes.
That the Iron Claw is going to make the list. Dan, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Yeah, it wasn't like the big movie of the year that year, but it was in the conversation for a lot of awards, and it was a movie to me that really stuck out to me because of all the editing and the flashbacks and all that kind of stuff. And it's a movie that is it's called The Trial of the Chicago 7, and it's basically all set in one room, except when they do the flashbacks to what happened at the 1968 Democratic Convention in Chicago. And you get to see these characters and where they were during all that, and how they all ended up in this place, and how they ended up being on trial in 1969. And I really thought this movie did a great job. I mean, like, other movies were the movies that were like the movies that people were talking about. That this wasn't as big of a movie. And I'm like, I don't understand. What am I, crazy or something here? This movie is amazing. Amazing cast, amazing. I mean, just the look of it looked amazing, you know? So I'm going to say The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Jacob, what do you say about The Trial of the Chicago 7?
Well, I was torn on what movie to bring up next. I was torn between two, and this was one of them. So now I can just go with my other choice. Because The Trial of the Chicago 7. I absolutely love this movie. It is my number one of 2020. I thought it should have won over Nomadland. That's just my opinion.
Fuck yeah,
Nomadland's just not. It's just not my tempo. But everything Dan said, I agree 100%. I love the courtroom, then the flashbacks. I think it was edited extremely well. Another stat cast, so this gets a pretty easy yes.
JPO, what do you say about The Trial of the Chicago 7?
I'm not sure if my fuck yeah over should have winning over Nomadland gave it away or not. But no, it's a big yes for me as well. I mean, first of all, I don't think Sorkin can write a bad script if he tried. I'd love to see him try. Like, try to write a bad script, Sorkin. And again, just talk about ensemble cast here, man. Like, if you think Borat's just a funny guy, watch this. Like, Baron's great in it. Y'all are Abdul Mateen, John Carl Lynch, one of my favorites. JGL, one of my favorites. Fucking Mike, little splash of Michael Keane. What more do you want? Yeah, this is a great flick. And I actually kind of agree with Dan. Like, I really loved it and kind of championed it a lot that year. And I kind of felt that it was, even though it's still well reviewed, somehow underrated still, because I really loved it. So yeah.
But yeah, for me, I did actually quite enjoy Trial of Chicago 7. I thought it was a good movie, and yeah, it's one of those ones that when I was ranking all the dramas of this year, that ended up a bit low, but it's still high enough. I'm still going to say yes to it. So it's yes for me. And yeah, so if that The Trial of the Chicago 7 is going to make the list. Jacob, what is your next movie you're going to bring up?
Yeah, now that I'm not torn anymore, I can choose this one. I'm going to go a year later to 2021. And I just saw a clip on YouTube that this was actually Nicolas Cage's favorite movie that he's ever made, and that's Pig. He was on Stephen Colbert, and he asked him like his top 5. What are Nick Cage's top 5 Nick Cage's films? And Pig was the first one that he brought up, which surprised me because he's made a lot of movies. But it doesn't surprise me also because it's a fantastic movie. He plays this truffle hunter who lives alone in Oregon, and he's just searching for his pig. And I think there's some fantastic drama here. I think that restaurant scene is fantastic. I think Nicolas Cage gives one of the best performances I've seen him give. I'm not 100% on the filmography, so I can't say for sure. Once I get there, maybe. But it's got to be. It was one of my favorite performances of that year. I was a little upset that he didn't get more, consideration. But it wasn't one of those movies that people were talking about. I remember we were on an episode of Tournament Fights, and one was like, why is Pig making it this far? And then he went and he watched and he was like, oh, I get it. Because it's a fantastic movie. So Pig will be my next nomination.
Yeah, so I remember that one was almost didn't make the list because Jordan was like, no one's seen this movie.
And then we're like, hey, Jordan, what a surprise, you're wrong.
But JPO, what do you say about Pig?
Yeah, these last few on my list are very hard to rank. So this is maybe on the cusp, but yeah, no, it really is great. So I'm gonna give it a yes. Yeah, this was another one that like you really truly still to this day never know with Nicolas Cage. like if it's gonna be the retirement plan or like if it's gonna be Mandy. Like you just don't know what the fuck this dude's gonna do anymore. But this is one of the good ones here. That restaurant scene. If we didn't make the top 10 scenes of the decade, that might make it. Like you know what I mean? That's so good. So that's a yes.
Yeah. And yeah, Pig is one of those movies I did get to really late. Because I don't think I watched it for that tournament fight, but it was dropped onto Netflix or something shortly after that. And yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie. It was one I didn't expect to love as much as I did, but it was a nice surprise. So yeah, it's an easy yes for me for Pig. Dan, what do you say about Pig?
Yeah, I love this movie. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if you're a Nicolas Cage, this is like cocaine to any Nicolas Cage fan. I mean, this is like you're sniffing this up right up your nose. You know, this is right what you're looking for if you're a Nicolas Cage fan. It's a revenge thriller. He's playing an interesting character, a truffle hunter who goes hunting for his lost pig. I mean, it's such a good. I can't wait. Any day now, I'm going to get the screener for The Surfer, and I am dying to watch The Surfer. Oh God, this looks so good.
Take a shot. Here.
Take a shot. I got the gunslingers. Also, JPO. I got the gunslingers too.
Gunslingers on what?
It's a gunslingers with Nicolas Cage in it.
No, but how do you have it on what?
It's no, I have a screener. I have to review it.
Take a shot.
JPO,
right there.
On me.
Let you right there.
On me too much, JPO. Come on, man. I love you.
I love you, buddy.
Yeah, I know you do. No, I'll say yes to Pig. I didn't have it on my list, but since you guys were talking about it and bringing it up, and I was what the heck? We're all here having fun. I'll put Pig on the list. What the heck?
I mean, it would have made the list regardless of it.
Well, I know. I'm not going to, I already voted no on Jacob's last one. I don't want him to think I'm just voting no on all of them.
But JPO was the next movie you're going to bring up.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go with the flick that got a lot of love a few weeks ago. I'm going to nominate Nora. I thought this was just a great thrill ride. Mike Madison, breakout performance here. The other dude that I'm getting nominated too, good for him. But he kind of came out of left field as well. Yeah, I think it's the best movie Sean Becker's made. The most invested I've ever been in one of his movies for sure. And yeah, I thought it was fantastic and a worthy winner of all the stuff it got. Nora.
I loved Nora. Like, it deserved Best Picture this year, and even Mikey Madison, I thought, definitely deserved Best Actress as well. It's definitely a great, and it's definitely one of those ones, like, especially when it comes to these dramas where they combine comedy and drama together. It's always you can always guarantee that whenever the Golden Globes come up, it's like there's always people arguing like for, oh, it shouldn't have been this one, or it should be in this one. But it's one of those ones. Comedy dramedies has been pretty much been a norm lately, and so it's an easy yes for me for Anora. I think it's great. Dan, what do you say about Anora?
Yeah, I had this on my top 10 of the year at number 6, and I really, really like the movie. And I have seen it multiple times because I didn't know how I felt about it originally after I first saw it sometime in October. But I really do feel like this is a great movie, and it's like a sad Cinderella story. It is a screwball comedy though, and I know there's drama in it, and people say, "Oh, this is." But I look at it as more of a screwball comedy, especially in that second act with those 3 guys, the 3 Russian guys or whatever you want to call it, Karen Karagulian and those guys. God, I want to say no because I feel like it's a screwball comedy, but I know, I'm sure Jacob's going to say yes, so I'm just going to say no.
Jacob, what do you say about Anora?
Oh, you shouldn't just assume like that, because I really did like the movie, but is it in my top 12 of the decade? I don't think it's quite there yet. This is a movie that I did just get to the day of the Oscars, actually, because I figured it was going to win a number of awards, and I really liked it. I do think it was deserving of of Best Picture. But yeah, I don't know. For me personally, I don't know if it's quite there yet. So I'm gonna say no, but it's not because I don't like the movie. I do think it's a great movie, fantastic performances, but just not quite top 12 for me yet.
But that, unfortunately, no, it's not going to make this list, and it comes back to me. No, I'm going to try for this one. If it doesn't make it, I get it. But I'm going to bring up challenges. I think challenges is great. Like, and look, I'll argue this. That they like. I think they should have moved this later, and because I think Zendaya should have been nominated for Best Actress. And I think it's just a great movie with a lot of great performances, and look, Luca Guadagnino did something that I thought was going to be impossible. He made tennis look interesting. And I mean, I'm one of those people that do like tennis. I've never had an opposition to it, but yeah. So challenges. Dan, what do you say about challenges?
Yeah, I really like challenges quite a bit. I mean, I love the romance between the three, the triangle romance. This was actually supposed to come out the year before, but because of the strikes, they moved it to that year to that position. And that and a few other movies were moved from the previous year to around that area because they didn't have anything coming out around that area. They were, oh, we'll just fill in all these slots with these movies. But yeah, I like Josh O'Connor, but I'm not a big fan of Mike Feist, but he actually kind of made me a little bit of a fan of him in that movie. I didn't like him in West Side Story at all. Zendaya, I'm a big fan of, though. I could watch Zendaya do anything. You know what I mean? I just don't think it's top 12 dramas of the decade. And for that reason, I'm just going to have to say no.
Jacob, what do you say about challenges?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm just being a downer on 2024, but I'm not sure if they're just quite there for me yet. I really liked Challengers. I thought there were some really great performances. I thought it was going to get way more awards love than it got. There were quite a few snubs in my opinion, but that's a discussion for another time. So it's a slight no. This was one of my I had this like just outside my top 10 I think for 2024. It's really good, but it's a slight no.
JPO, what do you say about challenges?
Similar to what Jacob just said, yeah, this is super close to making my list, but not quite there for me yet.
If that challenges isn't going to make this list, Dan, we go to you for your next nomination.
I'm going to go to a movie that I'll tell you what. When I saw this, I saw that at because of COVID, they allowed some movies to a lot of the film festivals to do virtual film festivals. This is the first year of these virtual film festivals, and a movie that was supposed to come out in a few weeks, but was able to sneak into the virtual portal of the Sundance Film Festival, and that was Judas and the Black Messiah, about Fred Hampton, who's the head of the Black Panther Party, and he had one of his lieutenants in Chicago basically go state's evidence on him that he was doing some criminal activity, that they weren't on the up and up the Black Panther Party, and it was a lot of stuff that had to do with the riots in Oakland and a lot of the black problems, problems in this country. And these guys were like, hey, we got to stand up for ourselves and whatnot. And I thought Daniel Kaluuya and Keith Stanfield Lakeith Stanfield were amazing in this movie. The music in it, I love the music. I love the period look of all the costumes and stuff. I thought this was a phenomenal movie. So I'm just going to bring up Judas and the Black Messiah.
Jacob, what do you say about Judas and the Black Messiah?
Haven't seen it. Need to get to it.
JPO, what do you say about Judas and the Black Messiah?
Well, it was on the cusp, but y'all screwed over Adora, so made it back into the list. So yeah, now it's a yes for me as well. Now, great flick here. Shout out to Stanfield. Good, career defining again. Like, okay, this guy could be a leading guy. Yeah, no, really intriguing tale. One worth being told. And no, yeah, great flick. It's a yes.
Yeah. Honestly, this is one of those. Yeah, I love Jerusalem Latin. I think it's a really good movie. And yeah, admittedly, I haven't seen it since it's come out. I've been actually mean to get around to rewatching it. But I remember enjoying it, so it's going to be for me. It's going to make this list. Jacob, what is your next nomination?
Yeah. Another sort of personal pick. I don't know how well this is going to go, but I don't want to just bring it up in the honorables because I love talking about this movie every chance I get. And that's Hustle with Adam Sandler. I think Hustle is a fantastic movie. I think you can see Adam Sandler's passion for basketball kind of come through it. He loves the sport, and I think that comes through. He's playing the scout, trying to find the next basketball star, and he gets a Juan Hernan Gomez, an NBA player who's never acted before. I'm pretty sure, and he was fantastic as Bo Cruz. I thought. I love that they used real basketball players, and I think most of them were at least capable. Him and Anthony Edwards specifically, who kind of was Bo's rival. I don't remember his character name, but they were fantastic. And if you watch Anthony Edwards play in the NBA, I wonder if some of that was art imitating real life. But no, I thought this was fantastic. I thought this was another great cast. Outside of Adam Sandler, you had Queen Latifah, you had Ben Foster, Robert Duvall, Jaleel White is here. I thought it was fantastic. It might just be my basketball bias. I think, it's really, really good. Again, I don't expect it to make the list. I wanted to bring it up because, like I said, I love talking about this movie and championing it anytime I get. Not that I think people think it's a bad movie. I just don't think people think, of Hustle when they think of, the best insert genre here of the decade. But I love this movie and I wanted to bring it up.
JP, what do you say about Hustle?
That's a tough one. I do love this movie. I love it from Sandman. Because we have a sports drama on here. We don't have one. I'll give it a yes because I don't trust you guys. You'll say no to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just waiting for the sequel to Hustle called Loyalty, and then the third part of the trilogy called Respect.
Respect.
But yeah, I do like Hustle. I do think it's a good movie. It's unfortunately just when I was ranking all these, it just ended up quite low, and I'm going to give it a slight no. But I want it known I do love the movie. Dan, what is it? Dan, what do you say about Hustle?
Yeah, I'm really hit and miss on Adam Sandler because I'm really not a big fan of his. But when he does a good drama, I do like it, and I did like Hustle. I didn't know a lot of these people that were in the movie because I don't follow the NBA like a lot of people do. I follow the Boston Celtics, so I only basically follow the team that I like, and so I don't know a lot of the players that play for other teams, and so I thought he was really good in the movie Adam Sandler, but when you're talking about, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, I just don't want to. I don't feel like this is the top 12 drama of the 2020s. So I'm going to unfortunately say no. And I'm a big sports guy. I love sports movies. And if you ever want to come on my show, if I get it kicking back up, Jacob, and you talk about Hustle, I'll do it with you on Bleacher Features. I'll talk about Hustle with you.
But for that, unfortunately, Hustle's not going to make it onto the list. JPO, what is your next nomination?
All right, well, Jay's going to say no because I'm going back to last year again. I was really enthralled by Civil War. I'll give a nomination to. I thought Arliss Garland painted a really cool, potentially true landscape. I thought it was intriguing from beginning to end here. Another great Kristen Dunst performance. Haley Spaney or whoever, girl was also in a couple things last year. She was really good. Like some of the photography elements here as well, and some real harrowing stuff too. Jesse Plemons and his fucking bright red glasses scared the shit out of me. Uh, all he has to do is wear those glasses and just like take my wallet. Just leave, just leave, Jesse. So yeah, I thought Civil War was fantastic.
Yeah, it took me a while to realize there was Jesse Plemons in that scene. I thought it was Matt Damon for a second.
Oh god, you're one of those.
Um, but yeah, no. Those that know me know I love Civil War. I think it's great, and actually it came out. I'm pretty sure it made the list last week for action too. But yeah, it's a good movie. And yeah, this is one of those ones where the drama of elements of it really shine in this. Like Patty Spain and Kirsten Dunst do give great performances in the movie. So yeah, it's a yes for me. Dan, what do you say about Civil War?
No, I really like Civil War, and what kind of American are you? Guys here, not Malcolm, you're not an American, but I'm looking at you two guys. No, I'm joking around. What kind of American are you guys? No, I really liked, and Kirsten Dunst, it was kind of like a resurgence for Kirsten. And I don't think Jesse Plemons was supposed to be in the movie. He just happened to be on set because his wife is Kirsten Dunst, and they needed somebody.
It was a last minute kind of replacement. Yeah,
it was going to be the director that was going to play that character, and they got him to play it. And that's a role, that's a meme or whatever you want to call it. But no, I did like Kaylee Spanley. I just think there's other dramas from 2024 that haven't even brought up that are better than this. So for that reason, I'm going to say no.
Jacob, what do you say about Civil War?
One of the 2024 movies that I haven't gotten to yet. So.
Damn it. You saw Frogman.
All right.
It's right there.
It's back to me. And yeah, I'm gonna go for this. I said this off air. Like musicals are not strictly belong with comedies and the Golden Globes, and musicals can be drama, and I do think this is a really good dramatic musical. And that's In the Heights. While it was a lesser seen musical of this year for whatever reason, but I think John M. Chu did a really good job with this musical, and I think he does a really good job of musicals in general. And it was so sad, and it was excited to show some love to I want to say it's like the Puerto Rican culture and all that, and I think he does a really good job of adapting this this Broadway show. Great, and I just think it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely got a really good dramatic movie as well. Dan, what do you say about In the Heights?
Yeah, I'm a big defender of In the Heights. I think John M. Chu did a phenomenal job. Why this didn't translate into awards buzz like West Side Story, I have no idea. Maybe say, oh, it's West Side Story, it's Steven Spielberg. We're going to push that instead of In the Heights. I think it's a better movie than West Side Story. It's about Washington Heights, which is a suburb of Brooklyn in New York. And it's basically based on the story of Lin-Manuel Miranda's life growing up in that part of New York City and stuff. And I love this movie. I saw it multiple times, but for one reason and one reason only, I'm going to have to say no. And to me, it's a musical. And to me, that doesn't qualify for this list. That's just my 2 cents.
Jacob, what do you say about In the Heights?
Yeah, no, I love this movie. I think In the Heights was incredible. I thought 2021 had a few good musicals between this and West Side Story and Tick Tick Boom. And I think for sure there are dramatic elements here. I'm torn on this one. I'll give it a slight yes and put it on JPO.
JPO, what do you say about In the Heights?
This is a no for me on a couple levels. I did like it, but I didn't love it as much as I'm probably the least high on it here. And also, too, while I don't agree with musical can be dramas, I also feel like this. I don't know if this one screams drama to me in general. I think West Side Story is more of a drama. This is more of just a fun musical.
But Dan, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
All right, guys. I talked to you guys off air about. Hope you guys have seen some foreign films because I'm going to bring some foreign films up because I think some of the best dramas of the last 4 years are foreign films. And for Malcolm, they may not be as foreign, but for Americans, you know, when you're speaking Japanese, it's subtitles. That's a foreign film or whatever. So, but a movie to me that moved me beyond belief. I just could not believe what I was watching because it resonated with me in my life for so long. And that's a movie called Past. No, it's called My Fault. Perfect Days. It's about a guy who lives in a little apartment and he has his routine. He gets up in the morning, he gets his little Walkman, he puts his music on, he does his routine, and he goes out, and all he does, he goes around Tokyo and he cleans bathrooms. That's his job every day. And I just thought this movie was sweet. It was just really resonated with me in a lot of levels. It's from Wim Wenders, who's an amazing filmmaker. I think the actor, I forget his name right now. I forget the guy's name. He definitely deserved to be nominated for Best Actor that year, a couple of years ago. I just love this movie. And I know a lot of people probably haven't seen Perfect Days, but to me, the title says it all. It was really, this guy made something that we all have a faux pas about: cleaning bathrooms, cleaning toilets. Who wants to clean bathrooms? This guy just made it a happy life for himself. And to me, it really moved me in a lot of ways. So Perfect Days, and I'm sure nobody on here saw it.
Jacob, what do you say about Perfect Days?
Correct. Have not seen it.
JPO, have you seen Perfect Days?
Twice in the last. No, I haven't.
Yeah, I also haven't seen Perfect Days.
I
If
know
you
That's a
don't-
good sell, though. I'll give you props. That's a good sell. Like I'm interested though.
If you were going to go the way
I'm
I
gonna
thought, if you were going to go the way I thought you were going, you might have had a movie people have seen.
Now, I know you guys didn't see this movie, but it is available on the Criterion Collection, so you guys can buy it. And it's a sweet and
I'll
lovely.
get a DVD player first.
Jacob, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Yeah, let's go with the Martin McDonagh directed Banshees of Inisherin. Banshees of Inisherin, I thought was really good. I don't think Martin McDonagh has made a bad movie yet. Reuniting Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, I thought was fantastic. I loved the script, even if sometimes you couldn't tell what they were saying. I love the chemistry between those two. And yeah, Brendan Gleeson just doesn't want to be friends with Colin Farrell anymore, and Colin Farrell doesn't know how to handle that. And yeah, the lengths that Brendan Gleeson will go to show him that he's serious. I thought we had some great supporting performances too from Kerry Condon and Barry Keoghan. I thought they were fantastic. Yeah, I watched this quite a few times in 2022. It was one of my favorites of that year. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So Banshees of Inisherin will be my next choice.
But JPO, what do you say about the Banshees of Inisherin?
Very similar to Judas. I might have said no, but you guys keep saying no to my picks, which means some stuff gets shifted, and now I gotta say yes because I had this right on the cusp. I like this movie a lot that year. Yeah, what a simplistic tale, but that goes to the umpteenth level here between donkeys and fingers and fires, and it's so well done. Another good performance by Robert Pattinson's Joker. Too, he's really good. Keegan. So yeah, I'll give it up for Benson and Sharon with this. Yes.
Yeah, no, Martin McDonagh's been one of those directors I've been intrigued with every time he brings out a movie. Like, like his next one sounds just from the cast alone sounds a tribute. You got Sam Rockwell, John Malkovich, and Steve Buscemi in the cast along with Tom Waits. But
Tom Waits was in Seven Psychopaths.
Oh yeah. But yeah, when it comes to Banshees of Inisherin, I think it was a but I thought it was great, and yeah, so I'm going to say yes. Dan, what do you say about the Banshees of Inisherin?
The weirdest thing, Jacob, this is my number one movie of the year that year. I had, for whatever reason, overlooked it, didn't have it on my list. So I'm so happy that you brought this up, dude, because I love this freaking movie, man. Wow, you said it all, though. What a gorgeous setting for this crazy, like, two friends that are, don't want to be friends anymore. And you get the goofball with Barry Keoghan and the sister. And I mean, just, wow, what an amazing, amazing movie. This was my number one movie of the year that Everything Everywhere All at Once ended up winning Best Picture that year. And Banshees kept on losing. And I was like, how does this movie keep losing? This movie's amazing. So good job, Jacob. I appreciate you bringing it up. You saved my ass on that one. So yes.
But that Banshees of Inisherin is going to make the list. And JPO, we go back to you next. What is your next nomination?
I was really also say no to next. It was the one I was hoping Dan would say, Past Lives,
No.
and I cleared my nomination. I just thought this was a beautiful tale of what could have been, what we all have those moments in our lives, whether it's love or just another thing that you could have done differently. But also relationship with John Majaro, I thought was really sweet and honest, and there's even an Eternal Sunshine reference, so I have to nominate it. It's Past Lives.
I love Past Lives. I do think it was a good movie, and yeah, like I'm not. It's one of those ones like I'm not I don't phone like subtitled movies are not lines I will typically go to, but I will check it out if it gets a lot of buzz, which Past Lives did, and yeah, I really liked it. I'm going to give it I will give it a yes because just like JPO, I've had a few picks get knocked down and just kind of moved up a little bit. So yeah, Dan, what do you say about Past Lives?
No, the thing is, JPO, I actually had this on my list, but I probably had Perfect Days higher. So I wanted to bring up Perfect Days first. And I knew that nobody had seen Perfect Days, but I wanted to get that. I said, oh, Jacob's bringing up something that no one's going to vote for. That's what I'm going to do next, just because I want to talk about Perfect Days. But I did have Past Lives on the list, and I wanted to talk about Past Lives. This is the kind of thing that, it's a real romance movie that's not like your sappy, goofy, kind of slotsy kind of romance movie. It's really like an intelligently written and enacted romance movie. And I want to see more movies like this. This is really a good movie. She's got a new movie coming out this year, and the trailer just dropped. That's interesting. The trailer just dropped for her new movie. I can't think of the name of it right now off the top of my head, but yeah. So I definitely say yes for Past Lives. I wanted to bring this up myself eventually, and I misspoke when I said Past Lives instead of Perfect Days last time.
And Jacob, what do you say about Past Lives?
Yeah, no, I also thought this was the one you were going to bring up because I have seen this one, and I absolutely agree with everything that's been said. I think this is a fantastic movie, and I think it deserves to be on the list. So yes.
That Past Lives is going to make the list, and it comes back to me. I'm going to try for this one. No, actually, no. I'm going to try for this one. I know. This is one that I honestly thought would have come up a lot earlier than this. But but it's one that caused a lot of controversy when this actor won Best Actor at the Oscars that year. And it is and it is the father. And look, we said a lot about this on the Best Actor winners episode a few weeks ago, but the father is a great movie, and Anthony Hopkins is giving a really good performance in the movie. And yeah, this is just a really heartbreaking story, and it's like having known people who've had dementia in there. This is just one of those ones that is a movie that's hard to watch, but it's still a really good movie as well. Dan, what do you say about the father?
Well, I'm going to tell a quick story real quick. I'm going to go as fast as I can. Malcolm and I and a guy by the name of Manning Franks used to do a show called Gone with the Wind. And that year they did virtual film festivals. And so I was able to get into the Savannah Virtual Film Festival that year. And I saw The Father. And we talk about award season and all this stuff. And Anthony Hopkins, a lot of people hadn't seen that movie until like literally right before the Oscars the previous year. So people like, oh, The Father, the Anthony Hopkins. And I was like, guys, you don't understand. I love Chadwick Boseman, but this is the performance of the year. Anthony Hopkins gives the performance of the year. And then they try to make so the best actor would go to Chadwick Boseman at the end and end up going to Anthony Hopkins. And he was sleeping in his bed in Ireland at the time. And it's just like, it was such a crazy confluence of events. But I had been talking about this movie for months and months and months. And Malcolm and Manning know that I was talking about this in this movie. But this really does, I mean, I'll tell you right, if you want to learn about dementia and Alzheimer's and that sort of stuff, this movie really shows you what this disease and these diseases can do to a family and a person. I mean, I wasn't going to put this on the list, Malcolm. It didn't even make my top 20, but just because of you and our history with this movie in the past, I'm going to say yes.
That's a weird reason.
Jacob, what do you say about The Father?
Haven't seen it.
JPO, what do you say about The Father?
Well, I don't get Dan's reasoning. I don't think it's that great in my top 20. But we talked about it on a podcast, I would say. But I think it is worthy of the 12. So actually, I'm giving it a yes here. Yeah, no, Alzheimer's has hit my family, both in the immediate family and the external family, twice now. This movie is heartbreaking. It's well edited. I thought it was a great movie of the year. I mean, I wouldn't call it controversy in the Oscars. It was just more like naivete and stupidity to like assume that Chadwick had it, So it's such a whimper that Anthony's not even there. It's like, well, we fucked up. Good night. Like, it's such a whimper of an ending. That's almost in a black way, in a black comedy way. It was very kind of funny, actually, in a fucked up way. But yeah, no, yeah, but it's a yes for this movie. I think it's a great movie. And yeah, Anthony Hopkins, well deserved.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a topic that people would want to bring up and have on the list. That's why I wasn't thinking about it. I could have.
Hey man, I mean, if we're talking 2000s, I'll talk Quicker for a Dream. We're talking drama. Shane ain't always happy.
No, you're right about that. Speaking of drama, let's go to another foreign film, and this time, I don't know if you guys recognize his name. His name is Edward Berger. Edward Berger has made two of the best films of the last 4 years, in my opinion. I mean, literally two of the best films of the last 4 years. And one of them won 4 Oscars. And it shows you how miserable, dirty, muddy, gritty, just awful war is. And that's All Quiet on the Western Front. I mean, this is a remake of a almost 100-year-old movie at the time. I think it was a 100-year-old movie at the time, like maybe the early 1920s or whatever it was, maybe a little bit later. Maybe it was a 90-something-year-old movie. I'm not sure, and that was black and white, and that just showed the degradation of World War I. But this being in color, the mud on the faces and just the awful look of them. he really captured what World War I was about. It wasn't a fun war. Not that war is fun in general, but it's one of the worst wars ever. It's the most awful war because trench warfare is just a terrible kind of warfare. So I'm going to say All Quiet on the Western Front.
Jacob, what do you say about All Quiet on the Western Front?
Yeah. Well, I loved Banshees. I had one movie above it that year, and this was it. I just wasn't sure how people were going to go with well, it's a war movie, and I'm not going to blah blah blah. So I was skeptical. I was hesitant to bring it up, but I'm glad you did because I think it is fantastic. Yeah, the brutality of war, I think is on display here. I think it's well shot, it's well edited. The performances are fantastic. It's a brutal movie. It's devastating. And yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
JPO, what do you say about All Quiet on the Western Front?
Haven't seen it.
Boo this man.
Hey, go watch what was I say after that?
We talked about this made the extra moves the 2020s last week. I hadn't seen it then. I still haven't seen it in a week. So.
Wow.
Look, I mean, it's one of those ones. It came up under drama. Like I thought it was a straight up war movie, so I didn't think like it would come up with drama. But yeah, I haven't seen it. I unfortunately have not seen All Quiet on the Western Front, so it's not making this list. Jacob, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Yeah, I mentioned it before that I love basketball. And what do you need to wear during basketball? Shoes. Air, I thought was fantastic and kind of the creation of the Jordan shoe. I thought it was you had a great screenplay here. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon back together once again, and then it's great supporting cast. Jason Bateman, Chris Messina, Viola Davis is fantastic. Chris Tucker is really good. And yeah, I love sort of these. We saw quite a few of them, I think, throughout the decade. These sort of based on a true story movies, and I thought quite a few of them were fantastic. But I think this might be my favorite of those. So I'm going to go with Air as my next nomination.
JPO, what do you say about Air?
This one's tough for me, only based again on the nitpicky. Like, I didn't assume this was a drama at first because the stakes are kind of low. Like, it's literally just like, can we, get Michael Jordan to sign? Huh? Like, so, and I thought it was way funnier than it was in like the dramatic aspect of it. So I didn't think about it at first, but it's a great looking movie. Again, I love an ensemble. I love Ben Affleck in all ways. So I'll leave it up to you guys. I'll say yes because it is deserving to be on top list if it qualifies. So yeah.
No, I think Air is great. If it didn't exist, people wouldn't be able to live. Everyone would be. But yeah, no. The movie Air it was a really good movie. It was one of those ones that actually surprised because like I was thinking like, yeah, there's no way a movie about the making of a shoe will be interesting. But the way they did it, they made it really interesting, and it's one of those ones like I knew nothing about the whole like ordeal with the making of this shoe, but I thought it was good, and like it was one of many movies about making of things that came out in this year. But it's going to be a yes for me.
that was the year of Cheetos, shoes, BlackBerry. Like that was the year. Tetris.
Yeah. But Dan, what do you say about Air?
You stole my thunder, JP. I was going to bring up Tetris. I was going to bring up BlackBerry.
Yeah, that was the year of like Brad Beanie Baby movie was that year.
Flamin' Hot. We got Barbie. We had Air. Oh, now I'll tell you, Jacob. I was 10 years old when this story broke, and everybody everybody was shocked that Michael Jordan signed with Nike because we all had thought it was a running shoe, and then he had broken that Converse because Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were both with Converse, and now those are my guy. My Larry was my guy, and the feud was the Celtics and the Lakers at the time. So this was a huge story when I was a kid, and the ins and outs of this story really were fascinating. Wow, that movie, those guys made this story so entertaining and so interesting. It did not have anybody playing Jordan almost until the very end of the movie, where you see him signing at the table, and then he. I thought it was a really good movie. God Almighty, I wouldn't have put this on the list, but I'm kind of now after thinking about it, and everybody else has already said yes. I'm going to just jump on board and say yes as well. What the heck?
That it is going to make the list. But JPO, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
I'm gonna bring up a movie that's again, we're not talking about soft matter anymore either. Although it is directed by the stoner from Cabin in the Woods, Fran Kranz Mass, that came out a couple years back here. It's about two couples that are meeting together here. You find out it's because of a school shooting, and you find out two of them are the school shooter's parents, and the other ones are victims of said kids' crime. And it's that's it for like 80% of it. There's a little bit of a preamble at the beginning with another lady, but that's it for about 99% of the movie. Is just those two couples having a back and forth discussion. All great character actors. Just really hard hitting. It'll hit you in the gut. I thought it was a fantastic, another really kind of undersung movie. I'm gonna go with Mass.
Yeah, I thought Mass is a really good movie, and yeah, like I was really late to it. I only saw it for the first time last year, but it was one of those ones where I think it was just one of those movies I think was really well done, and yeah, and it's one of those ones like I don't think I'd ever seen like Jason Isaacs do like I think this is probably the first time I've seen Jason Isaacs do something non franchise thing. 'Cause I think most of the times I've seen Jason Isaacs was in like either Harry Potter, Star Trek stuff, was like all those and yeah, and I think it was really good. It was really heartwarming. But yeah, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say yes. It's not necessarily my favorite one about the same subject matter, but I think the other one is sort of less seen. Dan, what do you say about Mass?
Yeah, this is another one that played at the virtual film festival for Sundance, either the second year or that year, and I saw it, and I was me and a lot of other people were really taken aback by how strong this movie was, and just four people sitting around a table discussing how their son did a mass shooting, and how they should deal with this situation and whatnot. It was very powerful. We're getting down to the nitty gritty of the list, and I got some things I kind of want to talk about, and I just have a feeling that there might be some better things brought up than this. So I'm going to say no for that reason.
Jacob, what do you say about Mass?
Sorry, JPO. Haven't seen it.
Where's Ross Bristow when you need him?
But yeah, so I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try for this one and see what happens. Like I know a lot of people may say it's probably more of a thriller than a drama, but it came up when I categorized it, and that's the movie Missing. And and I think Missing is just a like technically interesting story. With the way they kind of flip in between all the different like search technology screens and whatnot. And like just like searching from before like basically Storm Reed's like parents go like end up going missing. So in I want to say it's either Italy or Spain. It's definitely in Europe, one of the Europe um, countries. But and so she has to like um help find them and then I think it's just a really interesting story. And
Isn't it just the mom?
yeah, no, that's what there's just some yeah, I misspoke there. But yeah, but I think it was a really good movie, and yeah, so I don't know if people will consider this a drama or if they consider it a thriller, but we'll find out. Dan, what do you say about Missing?
Yeah, I saw the first one, Searching, with what's his face, Asian guy,
John Cho.
John Cho.
John Show.
But I
Never
never,
messing from Will and Grace.
yeah, I never got around to seeing this one and I was looking for it. I was trying to see it. I was seeing where it was playing, and I couldn't go to the theater to see it and whatnot. And I ended up buying it on a Blu-ray, and I watched it on Blu-ray, and I really liked it. But I wouldn't put it on this. I think there's way more movies that you could put on this list than this one. So I'm going to say no.
Jacob, what do you say about Missing?
Yeah, I really enjoy the movie, but I do think I'm in that camp of I think I'd call this more of a thriller than a drama, especially when it picks up in the later half. So I'm going to say no, but I do think it's a really good movie.
And JPO, what would you have said about Missing?
Yeah, no, it's a worthy sequel. I was definitely trepidations in general because I was like, oh, are they gonna just retread, or is the magic gonna wear? So it's worth checking out for sure. But one, I don't think it was gonna make my 12 anyway, and I also don't necessarily think of drama when I think of this moment. Although you are invested in the girl, but yeah.
But Dan, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
I'm going to go back to foreign films again. Look, we all know. Okay, we're all old enough to know what the seminal moment in the history of the world was. Probably the last 100 years or so, and that was World War II, and the atrocities that happened in World War II, and the Nazis and stuff. I'm hoping I'm not. There's and so what we don't always get is the perspective of the villain. And in the Zone of Interest, we literally got the perspective of the villain, where they were living in a house on the outskirts of Auschwitz, and the wife was making dinner. She was getting the house clean. The kids were going out in the yard playing. The husband was doing whatever and this and that. And then he would walk through the yard and he would just go to Auschwitz. And in the background, you'd hear screams of people dying and smoke billowing up through Auschwitz and stuff like that. And I thought that was one of the most fascinating things I had ever. You had cameras in all the rooms. The Jonathan Glazer made it so you saw all the rooms and all the aspects of the house and whatnot. And he built this house to scale and everything. And I always thought that was one of the most fascinating movies I had ever seen until that point, that we get to see the perspective of the Nazis. They don't think they're doing anything wrong. They're just living their lives like a happy family. They get their white picket fence and all this stuff, while people are dying over there. There's smoke and screams. So to me, I think a phenomenal drama is The Zone of Interest.
Jacob, what do you say about The Zone of Interest?
Sound like a broken record now whenever Dan brings up a movie, because I haven't seen it.
That's fine. I didn't expect a lot of people to have seen it.
JPO, what do you say about The Zone of Interest?
Heard of it, haven't seen it.
But I actually did get around to seeing The Zone of Interest myself, and look, it's one of those ones where I think it's fine. Like it's one of those ones like I definitely wasn't as in love with it as Dan is with The Zone of Interest. Like I think the way they shot it and that and like there's. And it's one of those ones like there's barely any dialogue. in the movie as well to sort of follow. It's more of a atmospheric type movie, but yeah, it was decent, but I'm gonna say no. Uh, Jacob, we go back to you. What is the next movie you're going to bring up?
I'll try for this one, see how it goes. I'm going to go with Coda. I thought Coda was a fantastic movie. The girl, Ruby Rossi, who is the only hearing member of her family. All the other three members of her family are deaf, and she is trying to help their fishing business while also, trying to also become a singer. Like, she has aspirations to become a singer, and I think it's an interesting story. I thought Troy Kotzer was fantastic. I thought he gave a hell of a performance. One of my favorite performances of the decade period. I loved it. I was rooting for it on Oscars night. I know that the Power of the Dog was the front runner for quite some time, and then Coda, the little engine that could, kind of came out of nowhere and didn't win a lot of awards, but won some of the big ones. And I thought it was well deserved. I think it's well written and well directed. Fantastic performances. I can see the argument that some might call this, more comedy than drama, but I think it skirts the line with both, and I think it does both extremely well. I think the dramedy is done really well here. I love Coda, so that'll be my next pick.
JPO, what do you say about Coda?
I have seen the first half of this movie. I didn't finish it, so no.
So it's like a half a yes or half a no?
Both.
Okay.
But yeah, I have seen Coda. And yeah, it's a really good movie. And just with that, like the ending scene alone with the concert and that, I think it was really good. And yeah, I think Troy Kotzer was great, and it was just one of those ones. I think it was just really well done too. So I'm going to say yes. Dan, what do you say about Coda?
I'll tell you right now, Jacob, there's not a lot of movies that make me cry. And when I cry, it's a thing, because I don't cry at movies. I don't have much of a heart when it comes to movies. I take movies very seriously. So if I cry, if I get emotional by watching a movie, it means a lot. I watched this movie out of Sundance because they had the virtual. I don't want to sound like a bird. They had a virtual festival. Sundance did that year, and I watched this movie and I cried. And like months later, like in August or something, I went and saw it. I saw it again for whatever, and I was like, oh my God, I'm crying again. I mean, exactly the same things got me the second time around, and then like 4 months after that, like during award season, I saw it again, cried again. This movie is really an emotional train wreck of a movie. It really messes with you because it's so emotional, and it championed an underrepresented group of people to me. And I thought that was fantastic that year that they used the deaf and community as a way to represent them in this movie. And so I'm going to say big yes for me.
That Coda is going to make the list.
Right.
I cry all the time, man. You should try it. It's great.
I'll go give you some napkins down in Fort Myers.
Thank you.
But with that, we've got one spot left. JPO, we go to you. What is the movie you're going to bring up?
I'm going to bring up another sad one. Got him the Oscar, though. I'm going to go to The Whale, Brendan Fraser, directed by Darren Aronofsky. I just think the dialogue is great here. It's very heartbreaking. It's another form of just depression and almost giving up on yourself that you don't see often. People thought sometimes some of it was glorified. I disagree. It's like saying don't show drug addicts using drugs. It shows you how they can be enabled by friends. The stuff between him and his female friend is both like nice, but also extremely sad because that shows you how someone can just kind of almost play into it. I love the stuff with the daughter. I don't know. I just thought this movie really worked, and it's the epitome of like sad, beautiful. So I'm gonna go with the whale.
Yeah, this one is a tricky one for me because I do like the movie, and but it is also really low down my list too. But you know, what, just looking at what I've got left, I think I've got a lot of things which either won't make it in because I know some people don't like them, or just people just don't see them as like dramas per se. So, you know, I'm gonna say yes to the whale. I do like it enough, and I do think it is a great movie. Dan, what do you say about the whale?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. I think this is one of the best performances we've gotten in a long, long, long time. And Brendan Fraser just puts it all out there in this role. And then Hong Chow as the caregiver, and Sadie Sink as the daughter. It's just like this guy's just going through so much. And Brendan Fraser just puts it all out there. I mean, and he's wearing all this makeup and a fat suit and all this stuff. It's rare that you can get this kind of a performance out of somebody in these conditions, and he just killed it. I didn't have this on my list. I didn't have this on my list. I want to see. I want to see what Jacob says, though. I want to see what Jacob says. You know how I don't want to wait till see what Jacob says. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
Jacob, what do you say about the whale?
No, that's good because I would have said yes. I think this movie is fantastic. Yeah, Brendan Fraser's performance it's probably up there with Nick Cage and Pig as one of my favorites of the decade. I think you put those two next to each other, and I'm gonna have a hard time deciding on which one I like better. Yeah, this is a heartbreaking movie. Yeah, he's just going through so much. Man, it's not an easy rewatch. It is not one that I'm like, I want to watch The Whale, but I do think it deserves all the accolades and all the love. So yes.
But if that, The Whale is going to make the list, and it shows how much
12.
dramas is the something. But that is 12. Going to talk about going on mentions. And for me, like sometimes that I did have honorable mentions, like I didn't bring up because like there was some which are really tricky on if people consider them dramas or not. But according to Letterboxd, like Wicked is considered a drama. Which I do see, I could see it, but the Fablemans I think is great. A movie that I'm pretty sure only Dan has seen on this panel up for. And you see the movie about
Good movie.
and that yeah and um and honestly another New Zealand one that I think is really good. It's called Muru in over here, but I'm pretty sure overseas it's just called The Raid or something.
The
Not
Raid?
the Yeah, I think it's called The Raid overseas somewhere, but yeah, and then I think that's all I've got at the moment. Dan, what are some honorable mentions that you had there?
Yeah, I had The Last Duel. Oh my God. I don't understand why this didn't translate to awards. To me, it was phenomenal. This three-sided story about whether somebody gets raped or not or whatever. And Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Jodie Comer, directed by Ridley Scott. Incredible movie. Shocking it didn't get more awards buzz. Anatomy of a Fall, another one with Sandra Hüller. Same, she played two characters in the same year, one in Zone of Interest and one in Anatomy of a Fall. September 5, guys. It's out on physical media right now. If you have not seen September 5, I highly recommend. It's also on Paramount Plus. See September 5. What a phenomenal movie. Just an incredible movie. Another one it's a French movie, but it's a remake of a 2002 movie. But it's also based on a novel, The Count of Monte Cristo. Amazing, amazing movie, guys. If you want to see a 3-hour French movie based on one of the great novels of all time by Alexandre Dumas, The Count of Monte Cristo. Power of the Dog, really good movie. Conclave was the other Edward Berger movie I had on the list. I love Conclave. A movie about abortion called Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. Tough subject matter. Belfast. I love Belfast. Maybe there's some comedy in there. I don't know. Elvis, a biopic. She Said, another one about a real important movement in this country, the Me Too movement. Very good movie. Till, about the assassination of Emmett Till. Daniel Deadwire, completely robbed of an Oscar nomination that year. Maestro, about the great conductor Bernard Herrmann, I believe. Complete Unknown, about Bob Dylan. And I'm Still Here, which is about a man who was just abducted from his home in Brazil and interrogated, then eventually killed, and his wife is going to go around trying to figure out what's going on. It was nominated for Best Picture this past year. It's a Brazilian, and it won an Oscar for Best International Feature for Brazil. So that's the list that I had.
Jacob, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Yeah, so I had I didn't bring these up because I figured they weren't gonna have a chance. But After Yang, I thought After Yang was fantastic. Another musical I would have brought up because I think there's absolutely some drama there is Tick Tick Boom. I love Tick Tick Boom. Promising Young Woman, I thought was fantastic. And then just a couple more. The Fallout with Jenna Ortega, I thought was really good. And On the Count of Three, about these two guys who decide to agree to a double unaliving. So
Assassination plot.
Double assassination.
Yeah.
JPO, what do you say about what are some movies that you had?
You see about all those movies that we just brought up.
Well, I would have mentioned The Way Back with Ben Affleck. I thought he gave us.
Good one.
Yeah, not about the sports, just about again addiction and one step at a time. American Fiction, another great comedy dramedy. But there's some really good moments in there too between him and Shirley King Brown. So I thought that was a tremendous film. Another kind of comedy dramedy, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. So that was under drama for some people. So I think that's a tremendous film. Spike Lee's Defy Bloods. That was fantastic. Really enjoyed that. And a couple more big ones too. All of Us Strangers. That was pretty damn beautiful. Dope movie. And I'll also go with kind of divisive a little bit, but Licorice Pizza I also really enjoyed.
But a couple we've got in the chat. Leo Logan has brought up Nomadland. He brought up Tar. I'm trying to focus on ones that no one put up. Brian brought up Top Gun Maverick, which
not a drama.
Yeah.
I know it's listed by some, but it's such an action movie.
Yeah. He also brought up King Richard.
Well, I did not high enough.
And Leo also brought up Sound of Metal and
that's a good one.
Mank.
One of my least favorite Fincher movies.
Which
is a compliment because I love Fincher.
Yeah. And actually, there's a lot more that just came up too. Bike. Well, I'm not going to go for all of these bike riders.
Again, like it too low. Saturday Night, I thought about. Saturday Night was definitely one we would have done too.
And one I just didn't think was going to come up anyway, Baby. But
I didn't say it was that good.
I mean, I've heard mixed things about it.
Right.
But it's time to rank what we've got here. Just to recap the list, look, we've got Oppenheimer, The Holdovers, The Encore, The Trial of the Chicago 7, Pig, Judas and the Black Messiah, The Benches of Inisherin, Past Lives of the Father, Air, Coda, and The Rail. Dan, what do you have for 12?
Sorry, Jacob, I got Pig.
Jacob, what do you have for 12?
The Father.
JPO, what do you have for 12?
Coda.
We're going to the chat straight off because I got the rail. So chat, the first one to comment either the rail, Coda, the Father, or Pig. We'll decide what one ends up at 12, and it is going to be Coda.
Wow.
I didn't know. I don't know if you were saying that for a while.
No, Arthur, Brian don't care for the deaf people.
No, he just
What?
Brian just always agrees with JPO.
He's a smart man. Brian's the smartest guy in the room. What can I say?
Right.
But Jacob,
No
what do you
comment.
have for 11?
I'm gonna stick with the father.
JPO, what do you have for 11?
I'm gonna go Patches and a Sheeran.
I'm going the whale. Dan.
I have Pig still, but I'm not going to do that because I want to get something eliminated. So I'll go with the father.
The father will be at 11. Just had well enough. If you had gone Pig, Dan.
Ah, damn it!
But the father is going to be at 11. JPO, what do you have for 10?
Patches and a Sheeran.
Come on.
The whale, Dan.
I'll go with the whale. I'll go with the whale.
And Jacob.
I said Judas.
Whale.
But the whale is going to be at 10.
Oh,
It's a good spot for it, I think, though.
I disagree. Fuck you.
Well, no, I think it should be lower.
Well, you disagree. Where's Brian? Ask Brian in the chat.
No, nobody wants to ask him.
But now his performance.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Top two.
Yeah. But moving on to number 9, as I quickly I wrote Past Lives. Dan,
I
what
went
do you have
back
for
to
Pig?
the pig. You see that right there, the pig?
It's
See if
just
we-
Pig.
I'm gonna stick with Judas.
Pig is what I meant to say. Pig.
Yeah, I look. I knew what you meant. It's a running joke.
Right.
We never some. But
Right.
JP, what do you have?
Banshees of Inisherin, probably.
JP, sticking with Banshees.
You're
Yeah,
frozen.
boy.
Okay, I thought you were frozen there for a second.
So we've got
Give me a
four-way
second.
tie. We've got Past Lives, we've got Pig, we've got Banshees, and we got Judas and the Black Messiah. The
Wait, did
first
two
one-
people vote for Banshees?
No,
No,
Oh.
Dan
Judas-
went Pig.
I went pig again.
But the first comment I see, otherwise I'll set up a real.
Come on, Leo Logan, let's go.
Both Leo and Brian agreed this time.
Hey, sorry,
But-
sorry, Jacob.
What was it?
Pig.
All right, so now I gotta change mine.
But Dan, what do you have for 8?
I have the Iron Claw.
Jacob,
Judas.
JPO,
Banshees and Sharon.
Past Lives. So Past Lives, Iron Claw, Banshees, and Judas. The first comment I see will decide it.
Come on, not Banshees. That's all I have to say is not Banshees.
Banshees.
Well, Dan, you're not going to like this.
Hmm.
Damn it,
No,
Brian,
you deserve
let's go.
better.
I'm not getting you any more panels with me, Brian. I'm voting
But
you
Brian-
out.
I'll see you on ASAP.
But he can play you then.
Oh god. No more panels for you, Brian.
But
Iron Claw. I still got the Iron Claw.
Jacob,
Sticking with Judas.
JPO,
I'm on Judas now.
Damn it!
going to Past Lives. But Judas and the Black Messiah is going to be at 7.
Oh god, you guys. I like those two. Those two are two of mine.
I
No.
wouldn't have. I wouldn't have told.
Jacob picked Banshees of Inisherin. I forgot about that.
Oh,
I did. One of my favorites.
but JPO, what do you have for 6?
Let's see. Now we're pivoting to Air.
I'm going to stick with Past Lives. Dan,
I got the Iron Claw.
and
I've got Past Lives.
Past Lives is going to be at 6.
But putting Banshees as low, it did make my number 1 a lot easier.
But for me, I've got Trial of the Chicago 7. Dan, what do you have?
The Iron Claw.
Switch.
Jay
Going with Air.
and JPO.
Air.
I knew it was
So,
going to be here that time.
Air is going to be at 5.
Come on, you can't say the Iron Claw deserves to be higher than 4, guys.
I guess you'll see.
I knew you two. You're going to keep it going as long as you can.
But just
I'm still here.
That's not on the list, JPO. That's not on. No, I'm joking.
JPO, what do you have it for?
Well, I guess he's gone now.
No, I'm thinking. I'm sorry. I'm not. No, I am here.
Yeah.
So wait, it's Holdovers, Oppenheimer, Child, and Iron Claw.
Yeah.
Oh fuck it, I can't lie, Iron Claw.
Good job,
Trial of the Chicago 7. Dan,
Iron Claw.
Jacob.
Iron Claw.
Hey, good job, guys. Oh, now this is going to get interesting.
I'm sticking with Trial of Chicago 7. Dan.
I got the Holdovers.
Jacob.
I have Oppenheimer.
And JPO.
Trial of Chicago 7.
Oh wow! How can you? How can we hear him when we don't see him?
I'm just
Because
camera off. My audio's
he-
off.
Oh, I gotcha. Oh, that's how you do it. Okay, my bad.
he's the voice of God.
Yes. Dan, watch more sitcoms.
I wish I could. Hey, the studio, guys, watch the studio. You're gonna love it.
But
Oh, that I am interested in. Yeah, I will watch that actually.
Unbelievable, JPO.
But anyway, now we got to go for an interesting situation here because it's both movies. They're up for Best Picture in the same year, but Oppenheimer versus The Holdovers again.
Hell yeah!
Dan, what do you have for number 1?
All right, hold on a second.
Well, I heard hold.
He said Holdovers.
My number 1. I spelled it wrong. I forgot a P. Oppenheimer.
Jacob.
I forgot a P2. The Holdovers.
JPO.
Holdovers.
The Holdovers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That The Holdovers is going to be number 1.
Holdovers is number 1. Wow. I wouldn't have predicted that coming into this.
But with that, to recap our top 12 dramas of the 2020s, at number 12, we've got Coda. At 11, we've got The Father. At 10, we've got The Whale. At 9, we've got Pig. At 8, we've got Banshees of Inisherin. At 7, we've got Judas and the Black Messiah. At 6, we've got Past Lives. At 5, we've got Air. At 4, we've got The Iron Claw. At 3, we've got The Trial of Chicago 7. At 2, we got Oppenheimer. And number 1 is The Holdovers. But that brings us to the end of another episode of Bankum. Next week is going to be talking about the top 12 single episode Simpsons characters. So these are Simpsons characters that only ever appeared in one episode. but it should be a very interesting list. It's been sort of floating around. I've had it floating around the polls for a while. But finally got picked partially because I screwed up and put drama movies of the '90s on the poll. When I already did that last year, so I had to move. Dan, where can people find you online?
Hey, you can find me right there at fromthefourthrow.com, where I'm the owner, editor-in-chief, and head film critic of From the Fourth Row. I'm a film critic in Central Florida, and I'm all over the place. I'm going to be popping up on the Movie Hero Network in the next week or two. Couple things I'm going to be on with them. I'm over off the Dill Pickle Movie Network over there doing stuff. I'm on with my other buddies over on the Chasing Labels YouTube channel. You can always find me on underneath my name, Dan Skip Allen or DP Skip Allen, or From the Fourth Row, and like Letterboxd, Threads, Instagram, X / Twitter, Facebook, Blue Sky, Letterboxd. If I haven't said that, I'm going to be really busy cranking out movie reviews and TV show reviews and everything on the channel, because I got a lot going on in the next month and a half, guys. So stay tuned.
Jacob, where can people find you online?
Yeah, in about an hour-ish, you can catch me over on JPO's channel, trying to kick him out of his own tournament. On Thursdays, the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast over on the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast channel, where we talk some wrestling. And then, I pop up other places time to time. I think JPO, Richie, and I are doing a countdown tomorrow on his channel, so that should be fun also.
JPO, we can be on you online.
Yeah, all the awesome stuff Jacob just said. If you're watching right now, head over to the Periscope. We're gonna do some picks and lists. I'm gonna destroy everyone in that. Then I'm gonna destroy my good friend Jacob and ASAP, or maybe lose both. I don't know. We'll see. But we're doing, and that'll finish round 1 of the tournament. And we can finally start round 2. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Countdown on Monday, where we're counting down top 10 pitches for movies that we want to see remade. That's gonna be a fun one. Put a little thought into that. And then on Thursday, every Thursday at 10, me, Richie, Barbs, Barbs, Richie, as we talk wrestling. It's Mania season, so it's a good time to talk wrestling. My alarm's going off. Oh, that's right, because I gotta take a pill. Y'all, catch you next time.
And you can find me on Tape View Productions. I host Rankum every week. Next week, we're going to be talking about top shelf single episodes of Simpsons characters. And you can also find me popping up here and there in other places. I think and I also host my have on my own personal YouTube channel. I do Spear from the Past every week. Next episode, which probably will be next week now, because I have been really busy and just haven't managed to get a guest for this one yet. We're going to be talking about No Mercy from 2017. And so there's a lot of fun stuff, and I'm going to go out on a clip of a movie that I'm really surprised wasn't brought up.